Hello dear students. Today we are going to talk about present perfect continuous. As you can remember, last time we talked with you about the difference between present perfect simple and past simple tenses. And I hope that you didn't have any problems with doing some task after my previous lecture. Let's get started to discuss our present perfect continuous tense. First of all, I want to tell you that a well-known expression says that everything always needs to be brought to an end. But some English tenses do not obey this rule. What kind of knotted time is this? Exactly, this is present perfect continuous. This is not used very often in English, but phrases with it have become firmly embedded in the language of everyday communication. Today, we'll understand what present continuous is, how to use it correctly in speech, and why it is needed in English grammar. And we will also compare it with other real times. So, what is present perfect continuous tense? At first glance, present perfect continuous tense or present perfect long tense in English sounds like a paradox. For action described in this tense is present but perfect and at the same time long. Have you ever done phone repairs? If yes, then you know that repairs cannot be completed but can only be suspended. So it is with the action in the present perfect tense. It began in the past but continues in the present tense. The duration of the action can last as long as you like, an hour, a day, a month, a year. Present perfect continuous education. Let's talk about this position. In present progressive or in present perfect continuous, the action takes a long time to complete, so the present perfect continuous or progressive formula must necessarily contain elements of completeness. To have and duration, a semantic verb with the ending ing. Also, we have a special formula for present perfect continuous or progressive. This is our subject plus have or has, been plus main verb with ing ending. The choice of the auxiliary verb to be in present perfect continuous will depend on the person of the subject, nouns and pronouns of the first and second person, like I, we, you, they. I used to have nouns and pronouns of the third person, like he, she, it. I used with has. Also, guys, I prepared some short information for you about how distinguish and how correctly use present perfect continuous tense. First of all, don't forget about that we have two forms like have, has plus been plus verb with ing ending. Uses. First of all, we use present perfect continuous with how long, for, since, with action verbs. Action started in the past and continues now. How long have you been feeling like this? She's been traveling by bus for 5 years. Also, present perfect continuous has different forms like positive, negative, yes no question and why question. Also in this my screen you also can see how we can correctly use present continuous forms. Please study this very attentively. Let's continue. Our present perfect continuous tense also use when we have repeated actions, especially with time expressions like all day, recently, etc. For example, I have been arguing with my husband lately. The phone has been ringing all day. The present perfect continuous also uses with continuous actions that have just finished, with result in the present. He's been running all day. He's dead. Look at your hands. They are so filthy. I know. I've been painting the living room. One more usages. Present perfect simple tense with how long, for, since, non-action verbs. For example, with verbs be, have, know, like, and so on. For example, I've been known Maria for 10 years. They've had that car since 2007. Also, we can use our present perfect tense or our present progressive simple tense when we use superlatives and also words like the first, the second, the last time, and so on. For example, this is the best meal I've ever had. This is the first time he's given a speech. So guys, can you distinguish what kind of tenses should we use, simple or continuous? With how long, for and since, we can use both. However, we prefer the continuous for shorter temporary actions. We've lived in London since 1980. We've been living in London since 1980. We have been staying in a hotel for the last months. Also guys, remember that we have non-continuous verbs. It is important to remember that non-continuous verbs like be, know, like can't be used in any continuous tenses. Instead of using present perfect continuous with these verbs, you must use just present perfect tense. For today that's all guys. I hope that my lecture was very useful and interesting for you. And also after this lecture I attach some document and some materials which has some exercises. Please try to do this, and if you will have some questions, please inform me about this. Goodbye, I wish you good luck.